I am, Your Honor. My name is Charles Clapperton. I'm appointed as the child's attorney in the dependency under Office of Civil Legal Aid. And they've told me that their contract, or my contract with them, includes any guardianship. And so
I can't figure out how to leave the meeting.
and so I don't know if I need to file a notice of appearance or if the court appoints me. OCLA, that part of the program, it's only about a year old. They're trying to figure out what we're doing. So.
All right. I guess procedural, I'm trying to figure out where this case is at. It looks like I had some documents that came in from the department. I believe by email today.
Your Honor, I'm Jennifer Minkowski-Dixon on behalf of the department. We did file this morning a notice of appearance and then also a response to the petition. I apologize. I thought Judge Fassett was hearing the docket, so we sent the bench copies to her.
I did receive those, so I had a chance to look at them.
Thank you.
So are the petitioners present on this one? Would be.
I saw the mother was here by Zoom.
Donald or Kimberly Peterson.
There it is. Yes, that's it.
Here.
I see Kimberly Peterson. Hi, Your Honor. This is Rachel, Adoption Supervisor.
Oh, I see. There's in the chat. There's an email. There's a thing in the chat from it. It says it won't let me unmute. Because I know I did see her that she was on there.
I'm sorry to interrupt. If Kimberly, try pushing *6. That typically works on Zoom to unmute.
I guess at this point, I'm a little confused as to the status of the case. It looks like there's a pending dependency matter. Something may have been heard on Monday.
Your Honor, my name is Angie Villette. I'm the guardian ad litem in the underlying dependency, and I'm just here as an interested party. If you would like any information from me, I was present on Monday and could report to you as an officer of the court if you'd like.
Well, thank you. Ms. Minkowski,
Your Honor, so there is an open dependency. Lena is a legally free child and she is in the custody of the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. There was a hearing on shortened time on Monday from the guardian ad litem's motion for the court to review placement. Department objected to that hearing being set on shortened time and believes that there's additional information that the dependency court wasn't aware of. And so we'll be seeking a motion for reconsideration to present all of that information to the court. But at that hearing, the court did waive exclusive jurisdiction for this court to consider guardianship. There was no finding that this was appropriate or a ruling that an emergency guardianship should be granted. Department doesn't believe that either statutory element required for an emergency guardianship petition to be granted has been established. So we're asking that Your Honor deny the emergency petition today.
I'm not getting the petitioners here. So is Donald Peterson or Kimberly Peterson, are you able to unmute? Where is the child at right now?
Your Honor, she's in a court-ordered placement under the dependency with a suitable person in Washington State.
And is that different than the placement that's requested under this proceeding?
Yes, Your Honor. That would be the Montana family who the ICPC was rescinded for.
And is the child staying there pending further hearings?
In the suitable person placement in Washington, yes.
Okay. Ms. Villette, I don't know that you're a party to this case at this point. May want to log out and re-log in.
I believe Ms. Peterson is attempting to log back in.
While we're waiting for that, Your Honor, would it be inappropriate for me to file a notice of appearance? And then if the court appoints me, fine. I'm not certain how to mean.
Well, let me see here just a second.
I was listed as the child's attorney in the dependency on the petition.
I understand that. I think you'd probably need to file on this. I don't believe we'd be necessarily appointing directly for a child of that age, but
I can do that. I just,
yeah. Ms. Peterson should be back in.
Yep, there
I'm
she
here.
is.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
So did you receive the paperwork filed by the department today?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
By Jennifer Mankowski?
correct.
Yes, I did.
All right. So at this juncture,
And sorry to interrupt. Before I had to log off and log back in. Lena is actually with me right now. Tina and I picked her up from the airport from David Rail, and she's been with me ever since.
and that's in Washington?
I am currently in Kelso at my mother-in-law's house.
The dependency court on Monday did also grant visitation. I would have assumed it would have been anyway. Something authorized by the department. I don't know.
So Ms. Mankowski, I guess I'm confused here. You said the child was in Montana?
Your Honor, the court-ordered placement from the dependency court on Monday was for the suitable person placement in Washington. So that is her court-ordered placement. If the child's with Miss Peterson, that's not the court-ordered placement. She is authorized to have visitation with the child while she is here in Washington. So the placement is with a suitable person placement that is not the Petersons here in Washington.
Okay, so I guess what's being asked for today? First off, I don't think we've got proper service for much of anything today.
So the Petersons filed a petition for emergency guardianship for the court to order that today. The department's position is that the elements required for that emergency guardianship to be ordered today have not been met.
All right, well, I'm going to have everybody just mute. We'll put it at the end of the docket and I'll hear argument when we get to it, because this can take a while probably. I'll have to get up to speed on the dependency. So we'll just have you
I'm
sit
here on
tight
that
until we get
matter,
the rest of the
Your
docket handled.
As am I, Your Honor, Tina Day, the guardian ad litem.
All right, so can somebody explain to me the status? There's nothing. I was looking through the file. There wasn't anything in the file as to what we're doing today.
Yeah, that's a good question. I looked through it too. It was sent over to this day, I think, for review, but in the interim, there was some request for DNA testing on my client, and I didn't understand that, seeing that in the file. I think he's always been listed as a father, maybe Miss Day can, but in addition, I haven't had contact with my client. I've attempted to contact him through his significant other and been unable to do that. So I'm a little perplexed as to what we're doing today with regards to the request for DNA testing.
I don't have that request in the file.
So where we are, Your Honor, is this was filed as a full guardianship in February. It's been extended 5 times. In that process, initially, father was incarcerated in Department of Corrections. He's now incarcerated in Wahkiakum County for an assault against his significant other. He has not complied with any of the information from the court as far as completing the DNA, following up with me, or having contact with the court. This child has no parent available or capable. The mother has consented to the guardianship, and it's my contention as the guardian ad litem that this matter just needs to be set for hearing and move forward. We don't have a father established. I don't know how long that's going to take to happen or what are all the steps in that, but we have a baby who needs a guardianship, and that's what was filed in February and what has been extended now 5 times.
All right, so I don't see an order in this case requesting. Oh, there is an order. I'm sorry, from February 10th, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, until that happens, he wouldn't have any ability to do anything, I wouldn't think. Mr. Anagnosti, would you have a different opinion on that?
Only that he's been held out and named as the father and that history, but
Okay. So, Ms. Day, you're just simply suggesting we set it for a hearing on the actual guardianship. Is that what we're looking at today?
Yes, that's what I believe needs to happen. This has been filed in February and has been pending all of these months, with just kind of stagnant. We come back every month, nothing has happened, no progress has been made. Mother's consented, father's incarcerated. There is no parent. And this child is with the maternal grandmother. And my contention is we need to enter the order. If a DNA test is completed and it comes back that he's the father, that would certainly be a basis to bring it back before the court and have that heard, should that be necessary. Not knowing, of course, what the status will be of his ability. Right now, he is, again, incarcerated and pending fairly serious charges while he was on DOC release from other serious charges. So I don't know what his availability will be anytime in the near future. I don't want to deny him access to this child or anything like that if he is the father. But the reality is we have a baby who needs a guardianship.
Okay.
So there is an order appointing emergency minor guardianship that was entered on June 22nd that we have to be extended if we are to set the matter over to a trial assignment docket to get the appropriate date where the full can be heard. That would be what we would have to do today. We would have to extend the emergency minor guardianship and then send it for a trial assignment.
Yeah, this is just a full guardianship. I don't even believe an emergency was filed. I think it was just filed as a full guardianship.
That order is in place and it simply says until the hearing on the full guardianship. So I think we're good there. But what I could do would be to set this on. Is the petitioning party here?
That was going to be my question. Yeah, I didn't see Miss Hicks, but it might be one of just the phone numbers.
Okay. What I could do is just set this on for next Wednesday for trial assignment. Is that 18 next week, maybe 2 weeks?
I am out on vacation until the first part of September. I have no objection to it being set without me in September, next week, if that's what the court wishes to do. I'm trying to reach the petitioner. I thought she was on here on one of the phone numbers, but I don't see her. So if we want to set it for hearing, if I need to be present, then we would need to set it for that first week in September.
We can put it on the universal trial assignment docket, Your Honor. And if Miss Day would give me her dates, I'd make sure it wasn't set while she was on vacation, sometime after.
That would be great, Mr. Anagnostou. Thank you.
Why don't we put it on for the 23rd, which is 2 weeks. That way we can make sure that Miss Day, are you able to reach out to the petitioner?
I will reach out to her as soon as we get done with this docket. Yes.
Okay.
Make sure she knows of that date.
All right. Well, let's put it on then for the 23rd at 1 o'clock for assignment. The emergency order looks like it's in place until there is a hearing, so I'm not going to do another order extending.
Okay.
And then Mr. Anagnostou, it sounds like you'll be able to find your client at this point and maybe be able to come back and see where we're at if he's contesting. If you're not contesting, we could just enter an order. But we'll review it on the 23rd at 1 o'clock on that. I think you're involved in this one.
Yes, I am.
Is Michelle Leeper present?
I see Michelle Leeper and I see Mother Catherine Martin, and Father Chase is also there.
And I see Mr. Lee is present. All right. So where are we at today on this one? This looks like there was a guardian ad litem report with some visitation suggested.
I didn't want to cut off the JL, Your Honor, but yes, we continued it 1 week so all the parties could digest essentially the JL's report since we just received it right before last week's hearing. Before I speak, I'm going to defer to Miss Day, though, because it was her report that was presented.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, my report was submitted just prior to court and all the parties hadn't had a chance to review it. Now everybody has had that chance. I've not received any information that there's any objection, but the long and short of it is that father has signed a consent and agrees to the emergency minor guardianship, and mother is in agreement for a short period of time. She is working on some things that she needs to get taken care of so that Kathleen could be restored to her custody potentially. Both the parents were given some recommendations from my perspective, and the court would have to review those. Among those would be parenting classes, the incredible years, as well as a mental health evaluation with collateral input and visitation for the parents. And then my request was that the transportation for visitation be shared. The petitioner lives up in Tacoma and both the parents live here. And up to this point, the petitioner has been providing all of the transportation. And she currently is the supervisor for father's visitation.
And is the father with us today?
Is his Chase?
Hello, Your Honor.
Good afternoon or good morning. And the mother?
Yes, I'm here, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Lee, you're representing the mother?
Correct. Court appointed to represent the mother, Catherine Martin, Your Honor.
Okay. So I guess let me hear from you as to what the position on the visitation, and I guess the rest of that recommendation is.
Yes, Your Honor. In short, my client, her only concern is regarding the amount of traveling that's involved for the visitation. That's her main concern. Otherwise, she's in agreement with the guardian ad litem's conclusions at this time. Just for the record, Your Honor, we do have from the petitioner a motion for a permanent minor guardianship that I received this week with a hearing asked for August 29th. My client would prefer the status quo as opposed to that, but obviously we'll bring that issue will be addressed on separate motion. But just so the court is the accurate picture, I just want to bring that up there.
All right. Yeah, it looks like there's just been a petition that was just filed on the 7th. Which would need to be filed because these are only good for 120 days under the temporary anyway. So, I guess, Mr. Lee, I guess I'm not 100% clear. Your client's in agreement with the recommendation, but she's concerned?
She's concerned about the traveling for the amount of traveling time for visitation. Ms. Martin, would you like to elaborate on your specific concern for that?
So what I've noticed when I have my daughter in the car is that she tends to have fits the entire time she's in the vehicle. I do not understand why this is happening, but it seems to me, and from my mother's perspective, who supervises my visitations, that my daughter is being traumatized by the amount of time that is needed to travel for the visitation. And also there is wear and tear on both Michelle's vehicle and my mother's vehicle. And also there's the issue of gas price as well. So I'm worried not only about my daughter, but also the vehicle's conditions as well.
And just to confirm to the court then, Ms. Martin, otherwise you are satisfied at this time with Ms. Day's report?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So my recommendation.
Your Honor, may I speak?
Go ahead, Ms. Sleeper.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wouldn't say that she was traumatized by the length of the trip because it is only like an hour and 15 minutes. She will get a little fussy on our way to visitation. And I stay the weekend, so she's not in the car back and forth. So I'm making sure that she's taken care of in that sense, but traumatized is a pretty heavy word.
Well, it was my mother's words, not mine, and I was just going off what my mother said.
If I may weigh in, I know for a fact she has always disliked car rides too.
It's not particularly unusual for a 2-year-old. So I mean, that's just a reality of the world.
Right. I think she would be totally fine with the car rides from here on out.
Yeah, part of it's getting used to that. And part of it is that she's probably not going to be thrilled with being in a car that long. That's just pretty normal.
I'm not thrilled about being in a car that long.
I mean, I'm 23 and I feel the same.
I don't think any of us would want to be in a car for that long.
Okay.
All right. So, I mean, it sounds like at least on a temporary basis, if we extend the order, it's our order. Okay, so we don't have a temporary order in this one. Give me just 1 second here. Was there a temporary petition filed this one?
An emergency petition.
There was.
This is an emergency petition, yes.
Right, well, there's a regular petition filed as well.
Right, that's most recent.
Okay.
It would probably, Your Honor, without stepping on your toes, it might be prudent, just given the staggered progression on this, to have a new if the court so chose, to have a new continued order clarifying the length and duration of the minor guardianship, if that indeed is what the temporary emergency minor guardianship, if that's indeed what the court decides. We've kind of been ad hoc on the orders.
Interesting that, because there was a temporary order, but there was no restraining orders. Child was with Miss Leeper. It does not have an end date, does it?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
The immediate orders are what are signed prior to the emergency.
Right, but that, yeah, that.
Is what would be signed today. We just don't have that order.
Well, there was an order extending on 6/27.
6/27. That's just for the immediate order. The one that was signed ex parte without notice.
So that's the second one, it looks like. There was one, or the third one? Yeah, so, and I don't know how much, Mr. Lee, you may be able to assist with some of this. It looks like we just need a temporary, essentially the emergency guardianship order that would be valid through any hearing on the final guardianship.
Okay.
That would incorporate the visitation and recommendations that's set forth in Ms. Day's report.
I can take care of that, Your Honor, and distribute to the parties. And unless there was any objection, may we submit that ex parte?
That's fine to do that ex parte. We could also put a presentation on either for next week or the following week. In case there's an issue with that.
Mr. Lee, if you can get that to me before the end of business tomorrow, before I leave. If not, I have no objection to it being entered without my signature based on the court's ruling. If it's agreed by everybody else, I have no objection.
Thank you, Ms. Day.
All right, if everybody's comfortable with just doing it ex parte, then Mr. Lee, if you could put together an order, excuse me on that. And then we probably should have some review set out a ways. So if we were to go to maybe the 5th of October as a review date, and then we could check status at that point. We'll see where we're at. If any changes need to be made or other recommendations, and then take a look at where we're at as far as a permanent order or whether it's going to stay under temporary order for a while.
I'm present.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, good morning. Anybody else present on that case?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here as the court visitor for this case.
Thank you. This one looks like I didn't see proof of service in the file on the mother. I know there was some indication that had been done.
Yes, my understanding is it has been done and it was filed prior to the last hearing. But for some reason, it has not made it into Odyssey yet. I've been checking that and I've spoke with the petitioner and I believe mother has been served. I don't have any reason to believe different than that, but.
Wait a minute. I do see there was one here that says Alicia Dyer was served. The emergencies. I think that was done July 7th.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I don't know who Sandra Chilcott is.
That's the current legal guardian.
Okay. But the father's not been served.
That's correct, Your Honor. The father is incarcerated in the state of Arizona, and I met with Ms. Booth just this week and was able to provide her some information about how to reach them and arrange for service of father. But he is currently incarcerated and not expected to be released, if I remember right, till 2025.
Okay. I think we still have to have him served.
Yes.
I guess, have you worked with any service with Arizona timelines on something like that?
I have in the past, but I believe that we can effect service through the prison system directly. I provided that information and I don't know if Ms. Booth is prepared to give us an update, but I'm hoping that that was sufficient to get the documentation to them and they could provide service. Ms. Booth?
I have served it to them, but I have not received any information back that they received it.
Okay.
I will also reach out to them. I'll try to reach them today.
All right. And is the mother present? Or Ms. Chilcott?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't believe either of them are here.
Okay, so probably today, then we just need to extend this order out for at least a couple of weeks to see if we can get service back on Dad, and then we can move forward.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's appropriate, Your Honor.
Okay, do we have an order we can?
Yeah, you'll have to get it.
Okay, so I'll enter an order that will extend the status quo, awaiting service on the father, leaving the temporary custody with Miss Booth. And do we want to go, maybe we should go 3 weeks?
If we could go into September, Your Honor, I'm back on the 2nd.
Okay, how about the 7th then, the 7th of September?
Perfect, thank you.
Good morning, Your
Thank
Honor.
you.
Jennifer Donnell from the petitioners.
Going back to 2010. Now we know that fire crews and crews from the Bay Area Air Quality
Hold on a second, I'm getting some feedback here.
need to bring updates on the air quality as they're made available. Reporting live, Hunter Hudson.
I have somebody on the phone who's got a radio on or something in the back. Can you identify yourself?
Okay, I'm not sure if that's me. This is Anita Glenn.
You have a radio on in the background or something?
There's a TV across the room. Should I turn it off?
Okay. Are you on this case? ma'am?
Okay. I'm the aunt. I'm great aunt on the paternal side.
Okay.
I'm not listed anywhere. Okay. I live in California.
Okay. So at this point, if I can just have you hit *6 and mute yourself so we don't get the feedback, that'd be helpful.
If I turn off the TV, will that help?
That'll help a whole bunch.
Okay. I turned the TV off. Okay.
Okay.
Is the static and all the noise gone now?
That helps. Yeah. So if we can just have you sit tight then and we'll
Yes, sir.
proceed. Thank
yeah.
you.
I wasn't. Yeah, I
Okay.
wasn't listed to speak. I was just concerned about what was going on.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Anagnostou and looks like Jennifer Gunnell is present. I saw. This looks like we just had service on this one.
Your Honor, the service was on the full petition. So we originally filed an emergency guardianship, got an ex parte order, which set over from, so this hearing is a set over from that. And then we filed a full guardianship petition as well subsequently. So this hearing is set on the emergency guardianship petition. My understanding is that Ms. Jones has received counsel, Mr. Ignacio, and the minor has also received counsel. And I don't know who they are, if someone has been approved yet. There is an order in the file appointing counsel, but no name listed yet. So I suppose that this will likely be a continuance. I haven't seen a response or anything else filed other than our petitions.
Mr. Ignacio.
Yes, Your Honor. I only yesterday got notice that I was appointed, and I contacted my client and we had a conversation. She has a response to the allegations, but more importantly, her request is some kind of residential time with the child. We understand that the child is 16, so and I thought I saw that the child is actually here, so she would like some residential time, and we haven't had an opportunity to file a response.
Your Honor, I think it's I believe Mr. Randall's been appointed counsel. The minor has been appointed counsel. I don't think anyone's actually been assigned yet, however. So I don't want to speak for her regarding the residential time. I know it is Chuck and Vicki Jones' position that should not occur.
Well, let me see. I'm just looking to see if I've got your notice of appearance and you're representing the
petitioners. It's her aunt and uncle who she's been living with for the last few months, the last 7 or 8 months.
We have an appointment for the child.
The court admin had advised me that they couldn't find an attorney at this time, so they entered the order just without the name in hopes of them being able to find someone in the next couple of weeks.
All right. So it sounds like we have not been able to locate an attorney to appoint for the child at this point.
So all I can do is speak to the petitioners. As far as I understand, Ms. Jones has not had a visitation with the child since she's been with my clients. Given the seriousness of the allegations, I don't think visitation is proper.
This whole thing was filed because I've been asking for a visit with my daughter. That's why this has been filed. That's all I've asked, is to be able to see my daughter. Nobody's actually seen my daughter since she went up to their house in December.
And Your Honor, and the minor is here on the call, so she doesn't have counsel yet, but she also can speak to her position on it.
And my client is willing to, she lives in Portland, is willing to come to Woodland to visit her daughter. And at least we should establish some kind of phone contact or something if we're going to push this out until counsel gets involved. But, some contact should be safe. I mean, if it's supervised visits or phone calls or some kind of contact.
So is Kyla on the?
It's Kayla.
Kayla, I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And are you interested in having some contact outside of the court with your mom at this point?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And you're 16?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
So here's I guess what I'm thinking on this one is maybe we set this out 1 week. Do you have a temporary on this one or not?
There's just the emergency ex parte order, Your Honor, that's currently in place.
Okay. Well, my thought would be is to set it out a week. Mr. Agnostic can file some sort of responding paperwork so we can take a look at his client's position. We'll continue to see if we can get counsel for Kayla, and then we can make some informed decisions. I'm not going to order anything today until I have a little bit more information, given the response that I've just heard today. So I'll enter an order. Do you want to do 1 week or 2?
We don't have a preference, so I defer to Mr. Ignacio.
Well, we should come back in a week. It's going to be hard for me to get something filed in that time, but I'll do my best. But it's important for my clients, so I think we should come back in a week.
Okay. So let's set this. I'll do an extension of the temporary out for a week till the 17th.
So it was her birthday yesterday. Am I able in some way to get her the presents I have for her?
I think if you have some, can those be submitted to the temporary placement? Ms. Gunnell?
Oh, I haven't spoken to my clients.
I can drop it off. Sorry, I could drop it off to my brother's shop or anything so that I'm not near the house.
I think that if there's some way that it can be, delivered to a third party would be ideal. And then with the understanding that those would be looked at by the temporary guardians until, to make sure that any gift is appropriate.
Mom, mute your thing.
All right. Yeah, ma'am, you can drop those. There's no, that wouldn't be a violation of any order to do that. So if you want to get those to the third party to be transmitted, that'd be fine. So
what would that third party be like?
You said you had a space, you had a place you could drop them off, you said?
He owns a shop in Woodland.
Okay. That should be
my brother's shop, so I guess I would be.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay.
All right, and then we'll come back next week on the 17th at 10:30. Mr. Agnostic, if you can make sure we get bench copies on that.
Right.
And given the short notice, even though it may not normally be the case, any type of email should go out to everybody who needs a copy of that. All right.
Right. I assume there's email addresses, but yeah.
I will make sure you get mine and I will get.
We have email service is absolutely fine. It should be in my emails on the petition.
That's true. Right.
Okay. And so we'll come back next week at 10:30 on the 17th.
Her dad is on here as well. In case I don't want him to feel like he's not been heard.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can. And could you identify yourself, sir?
Oh, Anthony Randall.
Okay. Mr. Randall, have you received copies of all the paperwork on this case?
Yeah, I got something yesterday. I got some last week, and I also got some yesterday. It said August 23rd on it, though, but I guess I was contacted, and they said sometime today at 10:30. So
What you got yesterday, Anthony, is for the permanent guardianship.
Okay, ma'am, hold on a second. August 23rd, what is this?
Yeah, something on here
Okay.
said the scheduled court hearing August 23rd, 10:30 a.m.
Correct. Right,
but
that's
I did
another.
okay, so I didn't know the difference. I got a text this morning from I think Vicky or Charles, and it said it was today at 10:30.
Right, there is a hearing today, and we're talking about essentially a temporary order on this case. Do you have a position on the guardianship, sir, or?
From what I hear, it seems like she's doing okay where she is. I have nothing to say anything against her mother. I know her mother wants to see her, and I want to see her too, and be able to spend some time with her. I mean, I don't agree with everything that the brother and the auntie has said about my position and who I am. So I did submit a letter about that. But I just think it's a sad situation all around.
He's not been appointed counsel either, Your Honor.
No,
Right.
I haven't.
And are you looking for an attorney, sir? Are you wishing to have somebody appointed?
I'm not sure at this point. I don't know what I need to do. This is a real shock to me. I don't know which way to turn. Like I said, it's a very sad situation.
He is on a fixed income, Your Honor, so I don't know if he can afford a lawyer, but
So, sir, do you wish to have an attorney appointed, or do you want to make that decision at a later time?
Let me make that at a later time. I need to figure out what I don't know what paperwork to fill out. Like I said, I really don't know which direction to turn.
Okay. Well, a guardian or an attorney could help you with that.
Okay.
But if you want to wait, that's fine.
I would if you can. I would like that. I would like that. And how would it be in Portland? I need somebody that's somewhere here in Portland.
It'd be somebody, it's whoever we can locate at this point. We're having attorneys for appointment, but it probably wouldn't be somebody in Portland.
Do you know how I would be able to contact them? Maybe phone wise, or
phone and email. They would be able to talk with you.
Okay. Yeah, I would like that. Yeah, I would like that.
Okay, I think we have your information in the file. So, and you're on a fixed income now, sir?
Yes, I'm on disability.
Okay. You would qualify. All right. So we'll authorize an attorney. I don't know if we'll have somebody appointed by that next hearing next week, but we'll work on that. So we'll get an order put together on that, and we'll continue to look one for the minor.
And I would like to say happy birthday to my daughter. I tried to text her. I'm not sure if I have the right number. I texted her in the morning yesterday.
Okay.
But happy birthday, Kayla.
Happy birthday, baby.
Okay, very good. All right, so I'll do some orders up, and then we'll be back next Thursday at 10:30. And Mr. Ignacio will consider your request at that time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I'm present on behalf of
There
Your Honor.
Okay, so it looks like I didn't have any service in this file on anything.
So we did serve the mother. She contacted my office and requested the documents via email. And I asked her to send me an email, and we replied to it. That all got filed. It might have been, I thought it was Monday, and maybe it hasn't made it into the court file. We've attempted to serve the father, Michael Erickson, but the process server was unable to do that. But he's here today. So apparently he's gotten some notice. The process server was unable to get the documents to him. He lives in Chicago. We were using a company, Elite Process Serving, and they were unable to get the documents to either of the parties.
Okay. So you do have some, let me talk about mom first. You say you got her served when?
We got her served on the 4th.
Okay.
And my staff filed that proof of service on the 8th. So a couple days ago. It must not have made it into the file yet.
It doesn't appear to be an odyssey yet. Is Georgia Wooldridge on the line? Okay, that's probably not adequate service for today. Let me talk with Mr. Michael Erickson. Good afternoon, sir. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So did you receive any paperwork on this case, sir?
I have not received any paperwork. I would not even know about this court date whatsoever if it was not for Georgia Wooldridge.
Okay. So
I'm not sure what Kurt is referring to as far as me being able to be served. As of nobody's reached out and nobody knows my address. So I'm not sure how I would be served paperwork if nobody knows exactly where I'm at.
Okay. So we need to get you some paperwork on the case so you can understand what's going on and have an opportunity to respond. Mr. Agnostu could do that via email if that's agreeable to you.
Respond to what exactly? I'm kind of confused what's going on exactly. You could explain.
This is a request to establish a guardianship over the minor in this case. And it looks like that's been filed by Marion Barrett. And so you're obviously dad, it sounds like. And so you would have an opportunity to respond to that. But we need to get you some paperwork so you can look at it and decide how you want to respond, whether you agree to it, whether you don't agree to it, or anything like that.
Okay. And then what happens from there?
Well, what would be happening today, in part because you haven't got paperwork and she just got hers, is I'll be extending the temporary order out a couple of weeks to give you an opportunity to get the paperwork and respond to it, as well as Ms. Wooldridge an opportunity to respond appropriately.
How is there a temporary guardianship in place without me knowing that there's a temporary guardianship in place? I just, I don't get it. He went out to visit his grandma, and now there's paperwork being filed for guardianship and I can't see my son. That's what I'm hearing.
There was paperwork filed, sir, and somebody, I don't believe it was myself, but a different judge reviewed it, felt there was enough information to establish a temporary order. And that's what this hearing is about, is to determine whether that should continue. And so I need to get a response from both you and Ms. Wooldridge to see whether or not it's appropriate or not.
Well, I've seen Ms. Wooldridge showed me paperwork that she received from Mr. Kirk or whatever office. And there's nothing on there indicating anywhere to respond, anything to respond to. As a matter of fact, the paperwork that she showed me didn't even show a court date for today. In the email header, it said what the court date was and what time it was, but there wasn't any information as far as responding goes. So I'm not sure what you're referring to, how I'm supposed to respond, or is there a checkbox and I'm supposed to send it back?
No, there would be a petition that sets out the reasons why they're asking for this. And there's also a show cause order, or an order that set today's hearing that should have been included in the documents that she would have gotten. I don't know if she did or whether that was passed on to you or whether you saw that or not. That's the order that set today's hearing.
What's the document called again? I'm sorry.
Well, there's a whole batch of documents. It would have been called an immediate order and hearing notice. That's what set today's hearing.
Okay, what am I supposed to respond to? What's the packet called or the document called I'm supposed to respond to?
Well, there's a whole packet of documents, so I cannot give you legal advice other than we'd have to get the documents to you so you can look through them. And then you can file some kind of written response back, or you can appear after you've had a chance to look at everything and tell us your position on everything.
I mean, that's what I'm here for today. I've looked at what she's gotten. And I think she's here in court too. The one that says George, I assume is her. So that's what we're here for today. I don't see a reason for a 3-week put off on the case.
Okay. Well, part of my problem is I don't have any jurisdiction over you until you're served papers. have jurisdiction over the child, have jurisdiction over the petitioner. And it sounds like, based on what Mr. Anagnostou indicated, that it sounds like we have jurisdiction over the mother. So if you're waiving any service and you want to proceed based on the information you have, I don't know if you have everything that was filed, sir. That's part of my concern. You get a whole packet of material and then you can read through that. But if you want to proceed today, I mean, you don't have to. You also potentially have right to have an attorney, as does she. We'll get to that here in just a second, to give you some advice on how to proceed if you want to, depending on your income situation. So my first question is do you want to get the paperwork, your packet of that, before we proceed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the paperwork. Also, I have a question. How would I have known if I was never able to be served? What would be the outcome of the case if I never would have known that there was any paperwork to be served to myself? Would you guys have proceeded without me, or is that?
Well, there would be a temporary order in it until we can get service to you, sir, or notice to you. And there's some different processes that can happen if you're just unable to be located, but that's not where we're at. So you know about the case. So we just need to know. We need to get you the paperwork so you can tell us what your position is.
Okay.
Okay. So Mr. Anagnostou has an email address. I don't know if is that on the paperwork, Mr. Anagnostou?
It's on the document that we filed. Yes, we filed a copy of her email to me, and then our service back on her at that same email address.
Right. No, I understand, but he needs to get copies of all this stuff.
I don't have an email address for him. I had no way of contacting him.
So how did you guys try to serve me if you don't have what did you send the paperwork? You said that in the beginning, you said you tried to serve me paperwork with Elite Company, third-party company. What address do you have on file for me, sir?
And that's the issue. We don't have an address, and they were using whatever means that process servers have to try to locate him and try to get a hold of him. They had a phone number apparently and tried that to reach him, and couldn't make any contact and couldn't locate a physical address. We don't have a good address for Mr. Erickson.
So how can we get some paperwork to you, sir?
Email's fine.
Okay. I don't know if you want, I just assume not necessarily broadcast that over. These are a streamed hearing, so I don't know if you want to put that, tell us that, or if you want to put that in the chat for Mr. Anagnostou to get.
Can I reach out to the office directly?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can reach out to my office. Sure. It's on the pleadings. My phone number is down in the lower right-hand corner.
All right.
Yeah, if you go to my office, and we'll get all the contact information and get the documents to you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. And so well, while I've got you on the line, sir, depending on certain circumstances, you may qualify for an attorney. Is that something you're interested in?
Yes.
All right. And are you currently employed, sir?
Yes.
And can you just give me a ballpark idea what your income is monthly?
Well, I'm working part-time, so it's not much.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm qualified.
Okay. All right. If you're working part-time, you're going to be within the limits. So I can authorize that. Our biggest problem is locating attorneys right now. So we'll have to work on that. I will authorize for the father. Is Georgia Woolridge, are you on the line?
I thought she was here, but then left because I thought I saw a phone number indicating Georgia.
Oh, it looks like we may have her. Hold on a second. She may have left and was in our waiting room.
Oh, she's back.
Okay. I don't know, Miss Woolridge, are you able to hear us? Mr. Anagnostou, are you aware of her situation as far as a counsel?
I am not. I know she lives in Chicago. My client may have some information, and she's present. if the court would want to hear from her or indulge some discussion from my client.
Yeah, if she qualifies, you can appoint her counsel if she's looking. I mean, that may be a place to start here.
As far as I know, she is no longer working and she does not have counsel.
Okay. I think in the interest of moving this case forward, I'll go ahead and appoint counsel. We can take a look at that more closely once we get a little farther in the case. And then Mr. Ignacio, you're going to get the paperwork to Mr. Erickson.
Correct. He's going to call my office and give me an email address.
Correct. And so my thought would be is simply extend this 1 week, set it on for next Thursday. We can try and get attorneys appointed in touch with the parties and get some answers next Thursday.
Okay, that's a pretty quick turnaround, but we can try.
Well, I got two folks who are not local, sounds like, in it. I mean, I don't know all about the case because I didn't have any responses or anything in here. So, and it was just served on the mother, which is not appropriate service for a hearing today. And the father hasn't yet received his paperwork. So.
No, I understand.
And I guess my concern would be based on what the father's comments was, I think I don't want to have this going way out any place. So it needs to be heard fairly quickly. So let's do that. I'm going to put it on for next Thursday. Ma'am, I can't unmute you. I'd have to do it on your end. I don't know if you can hear me. You should be able to hit the star key and the number 6 on your keypad. It should unmute you. It looks like you're unmuted right now.
There's no volume.
But I can't hear anything. I'm getting some comments from her. She can hear us, but so ma'am, I'm not getting any audio at all from you. Did you receive some paperwork from Mr. Anagnostou's office?
She's asking
Right.
if she received paperwork from my attorney's office.
Right, I see that. So, okay. So ma'am, I'm going to appoint you an attorney. And we will get that information to you, and we're going to have a hearing on this next Thursday. That's the quickest I can make sure everybody has their copies of paperwork so I can hear back from both of you. My suggestion is, since the phone doesn't seem to be working, you can't do next Thursday. Would you be able to do the following Thursday? So you're in Portland right now. All right. I think what I'm inclined to do on this, so ma'am, I hear what you're saying. What do you have a way to get to Cowlitz County to Longview? Okay. I'm going to step off the bench right this minute. So I want everybody just to sit tight. I want to see when we could have a hearing this afternoon. So give me just a minute. I'm going to step away from the bench. See, 3. What I'm thinking is to schedule a hearing. It'll be a hybrid hearing this afternoon. I give mother an opportunity to get to Longview. Mr. Anagnostou, I don't know if you're available to come over the hall. Mr. Erickson could log in via Zoom so he can be present at that hearing.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. What could you find for me this afternoon?
Anytime after 1:30 or 2 p.m., we can do a hybrid hearing.
Okay. Mr. Anagnostou, would you be available, say 2 o'clock?
I'm available. I could be available at 2 after that, but I could be available at 2 for an hour.
Okay. I don't know, but and Ms. Woolridge, are you able to get to Longview before 2 o'clock?
At least on my screen, she is.
I see her there. Okay. Oh, so Ms. Woolridge, can you hear us right now? Can give me a thumbs up or something if you can hear me. Okay. So are you able to get to Kelso today? So what I need to have you do, if you can come to Kelso, to the Hall of Justice, and it'll be on the second floor. I don't know which courtroom yet, and we'll set it.
Courtroom number 3.
Courtroom number 3 on the second floor, and we'll set that at 2 o'clock. And could we use this same Zoom link for you? Does that still be live at that point?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. So Mr. Erickson, if you want to use the same link to log in, it'd be 2 o'clock Pacific time. We'll have 100, so you'll be able to participate in that as well. And then Mr. Agnost, if you want to come over, that may be the most effective. Right. And your client can either be in person or via Zoom.
Right.
Is there a way I can get the paperwork before that so I can look over it?
Yeah, give my office a call and we'll get your email address and we can get that out to you in the next 20 minutes or so.
Okay, because I called yesterday where I think it's your office. I'm pretty sure they said you were in court or something. And the guy that I talked to said he was new. And I gave him my email and I never got anything at all. So, All
right.
Well, we'll get that sorted out for you. So you'll have the paperwork, and Miss Woolridge will be present here in Kelso at 2 o'clock, and we'll proceed at that point and see where we can get to the bottom of this.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Excuse me, this is Marion, the child's grandmother. He's with me. Based on what Georgia said in those chats, I was wondering if you wanted to just see Flynn right now and ask him if he's okay.
If you want to bring him to the hall, that might be helpful.
When I come at 2, you mean?
Yeah, that'd probably be good.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll reconvene on this case at 2 o'clock. Some of you in person, Mr. Erickson, will get you paperwork today so you can know what we're talking about, and then we'll be able to proceed.
And I really appreciate you so much. And I am a mother of my own child, and I am fucking just sitting here barfing my guts out, and nobody else cares. Nobody else cares.
You're coming through now, so you might want to watch your language.
I apologize. I'm just saying that nobody else really cares. Okay. And if they really cared, they wouldn't be talking so sincerely like they actually cared. Okay, they would actually have some emotion behind it.
Ma'am, let me just hold you up a second here. If I can just have you come to Kelso, we'll talk about it at 2 o'clock.
I'll be there. Okay.
Okay. Second floor, Hall of Justice. Okay.
And is there a room that I need to go to, or is it just the second
floor?
It'll
be second floor, courtroom 3.
Okay. Perfect.
And there'll be somebody who can give you some help finding that if you have any difficulty. And we have Ms. Farr, I see you there.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
So I was looking at this one. It looks like this was the father's rights were terminated on this, as I understand it.
No, actually, that's not correct. They were not terminated, but he's incarcerated and he is signing the consent. Or he has signed the consent, but it hasn't been filed with the court yet. There's some other documents that haven't been filed either. And so I would ask that we set this over for 2 weeks so we can get everything filed and I can get my report in and we'll be ready to enter permanent orders.
All right. So we will continue this matter over the 24th at 10:30.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us back to the Peterson matter. Rasmussen matter, excuse me. All right.
Your Honor, could I just add that context to the comment I made earlier? The reason Lena is with us now is because Tina and I obviously were confused on, we thought when Judge Scudder granted the guardianship that Lena could come back to us. So obviously there was some confusion with that. Had we known that that wasn't the case, then Lena would be with Tina right now.
Okay, so the situation is this: is Judge Scudder didn't grant a guardianship. He authorized at a hearing to proceed to file for a guardianship. And it sounds like that the state's intending to have him look at that decision and reconsider that decision. I don't know whether he's going to do that or not. I assume he'll reconsider it. He may not change his mind, or he may. In any event, it sounds like as of today, I'm not sure that we can do a whole lot today. I hesitate to crank up everything on a guardianship petition until since we have a dependency proceeding already, which has got everybody involved in it. Mr. Clapperton, you're representing the child, is that correct?
Correct. And she's 5 years old, so I'm basically her legal interest rather than her stated interest.
Okay, got it. Well, what do y'all want to do today?
Department's requesting that you deny the petition for the emergency minor guardianship today, Your Honor.
Well, my thought would be, when are you filing to the reconsideration?
Probably by early next week.
So it wouldn't be on for next Monday.
We could probably waive shorten time if that was the problem, Ms. Mankowski. But on the other hand, I realize you're busy, and so I'm not trying to jam you up there.
Yeah,
that's an attempt to be helpful.
I'm thinking that 14th is probably optimistic on that matter. And I don't have that case in front of me anyway. So here's a thought. The child is on a visit right now, essentially, if I understand that correctly. And that's within the terms of the order in the juvenile court, is that correct?
The order places with a suitable person and authorizes visits with Miss Peterson.
Okay.
And there wasn't whether it was supposed to be unsupervised or how long it was, but it wasn't supposed to be the way it's turned out.
Okay, understood. And Lena's 5?
Correct. Oh, excuse me.
She'll be 6 November 28th.
Okay, great. And there is a suitable placement in Washington already identified?
Yes, her name is Tina Sturgill, but again, like I just said, with mine and Tina's misconception of the circumstances, Tina had put off her trip regarding this because to her, family comes first. But like I said, we misunderstood the situation. And so we were under the impression that Lena could come back to us. And so Tina went ahead with her vacation plans. When I talked to her earlier, she was in La Grande, so I can call her and tell her to turn around.
Do you know how long she's supposed to be gone?
I want to say she was supposed to be gone for 2 weeks. But like I said, she was in La Grande the last time I talked to her, so I could call her and tell her the circumstances, and I'm sure she'll turn around.
Well, let me ask Ms. Villett, given this horrendous mess that we're looking at, do you have any safety concerns for the child if there's an extended visit until this can be heard by the court?
I have not seen the location of the home that they're staying in currently with the Miss Peterson's mother-in-law. But with Miss Peterson herself, I do not have safety concerns. I just have not been in the home to assess safety where they're staying. But I wouldn't have an objection if the department wants to if they need to be in a hotel or something for an extended visit. Child advocates wouldn't object to that.
And Your Honor, the issue of immediate placement of the child would be before the dependency court. And so I think that issue, if the department's seeking a change of placement, would have to go back under that cause number.
I understand that. And I'm certainly, the juvenile court is a division of this court. So, but I think we can at least address the issue on a short-term basis. My thought would be to put this on for Monday, the 14th in the dependency matter. All right. So my clerk got that. So I'm going to note that on for Monday in the dependency docket or review in front of Judge Scudder. my thought is until that time, I'm not going to grant the emergency guardianship today. I'm going to set this matter over, thinking 2 weeks. That'll give you an opportunity to get that issue dealt with as far as the waiver. It is waived, so this proceeding is properly filed. However, I don't know what Scudder will do with that when he gets us back in front of him. You can discuss it on Monday if you think you want to do that, or you can put it on the 21st. But I'm going to set this case without a temporary order over to the 24th, 2 weeks from today at 10:30. I'm going to authorize under the juvenile order an extended visit with it was Miss Peterson until the hearing on Monday. And if you want to present an order, if you need that, I can certainly handle it, an email version of that, so we have something in the file if there's any concerns about that. And then we can get all this back in front of Judge Scudder, who's got a whole lot more information in front of him. He can make some decisions about what to do, whether that visit should extend for the longer or what. Does that work for everybody?
Your Honor, and I understand the court's order. I just want to make a record that the department does object to the child being left with Ms. Peterson on this extended visit and cannot ensure the child's safety given the lack of information. But I understand the court's order.
Objection is noted and it'll be in the record, and I'm only authorizing it until Monday, so it's not a super long visit. And then if Judge Scudder wants to extend that with more information, he can do that. If he doesn't, he can make other orders. Okay. That should cover everybody until Monday. Mr. Clapperton, does that work for you?
Yes.
Okay. So y'all can crank up and be ready for a discussion on Monday with Judge Scudder and make some decisions. And then I'm going to set this on for the 24th on this case at 10:30, August 24th and we'll check status and see what happens out in juvenile.